Hello, Breasties, and welcome.
Ooh, am I a breastie?
You are. And welcome to my breast explant journey. This is episode 9, and if I sound different, it's because I no longer have implants in my body.
Small boob energy.
Yeah.
That's why you sound different.
Itty bitty titty committee. Here we are. So, I had my explant 6 days. What's today? 6 days ago.
Yeah.
At this point, I am joined by my partner, business partner, co-host, current caretaker, Anthony.
Hi.
And he's been helping me for the last few days. My parents were here for a bunch, also helping, and then they left me in his hands, and there's a lot to get into.
I think I've done an okay job. You're still here. You're surviving. You're
you
thriving.
have done great, but let's go back to surgery day, because I kind of want to do this in order. I think that's the best way to do everything.
So the last episode was when we talked about the pre-surgery episode, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Thursday, it was surgery day. My surgery ended up being, I had to check in at 10:30. So this whole time I kept thinking it was 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. And I kept telling everyone on this podcast that my surgery was 6 a.m. And everyone was confused when I was so late. And I forgot that they just give you that time as like a reserve the day kind of thing. And then the day before, they plan out when each person is going, because he does about 3 a day. Mm-hmm. So I had the 10:30 slot, the last slot, because they also knew I wanted to film some stuff and that no one else would be around. So I honestly wasn't that nervous. I was mainly nervous the night before and the morning of about being hungry, because my surgery time was so late.
Yeah. Well, you have to fast.
Right, I had to
From
fast.
From what, midnight the night before?
Midnight the night before. So I was like, I'm going to be starving. I'm going to be miserable. So that was in my head. This will come back later. So I get there. I go through all that. They do the urine test to make sure you're not pregnant. They, do the IV. They set you up with your IV before you're, on the table and everything. Tasha, my nurse, was amazing. And then I got to meet Paula, my anesthetist. She was great. So much fun. Her energy was awesome. Dr. Rankin came in. He marked me up. And I said, we're definitely not going to do a lift. He said, okay, I get it. Dee, who was on this podcast as well, she was there. I got to see everyone. Like, it was just fun. Then they walk you into the room.
Let me stop you for a second. Now, you talked about not being scared or anything beforehand in the last podcast episode.
Yeah.
Day of.
Yeah.
Did you have some additional nerves? Were you getting scared at all? Where was your mind at?
I'm just like, you're nervous, like, oh my God, this is something new. I was not like, oh, I wish I didn't do this, or I regret it, or...
But were you scared of going into surgery at all?
No, because I've done it before.
Okay.
And I was like, if I die, I'm not going to know.
That's fair.
So...
I mean, you'll be under anesthesia. It's probably the best way to go.
Honestly, great nap. So... I was just like that, like antsy nervous. I was not scared. I've never been like a surgery scared person.
Okay.
Just between, I've had hand surgery, my original breast implant.
Okay, so you meet everybody, they get you ready.
You got to get on the table yourself, which is so weird to think about.
They're going to pick you up?
I don't know. I think I just thought that like they sit you on a thing, like a table, and then they lay you down. Okay. I just had to like climb on there in my little gown. And they lay me down, and the anesthetist Paula is putting in the IV, or like connecting it. And she's like cracking jokes. And I said, I'm going to need you to not be funny while they're doing things in here, please. And they were all laughing. And I said, ooh, what's the playlist? Because there was music playing.
Okay.
I forget what song it was. And they said, well, what do you want to hear? I said, I'll put on some Taylor Swift, but like none of the sad stuff.
Okay.
And they said, okay. All right, breathe, count down, 3, 2, 1, and they put the mask over my face, take 3 deep breaths, and I went, good night.
And that was it, huh?
I didn't even hear any Taylor Swift. I was pretty bummed. I was like hoping to...
I hope the room was Taylor Swift fans, because otherwise you made them... Or maybe they didn't even put it on.
There's not a chance they put it on. They did whatever they want. They're like, yeah, okay, bitch.
I hope they were listening to like heavy metal. Just crazy, rocking out, ripping things out of your body, going nuts.
So they
maybe a little mosh pit.
Actually, I should listen back while we're here, because Dee Hicks, who is the patient care coordinator for Dr. Rankin, got to be in the room for part of my surgery, and she took video. What song is that in the background?
That's not Taylor Swift.
No, you can hear it. So,
Ooh.
oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm going to ask them. I'll find out. But yeah, so I have videos of the capsules coming out. So, how the surgery went was Dr. Rankin was able to cut me open, take out the implants, and then do the capsules separately because the capsules were attached to my chest wall. I haven't gotten my post-operative report. I do need to ask for that. It kind of goes into detail with everything and how they had to do it, sizes of things, all of that. But everything was completely normal. So no crazy fun stuff to share in terms of like, oh, this ruptured or whatever, which is good.
They didn't find like a Pez dispenser in there.
No Pez dispensers, nothing weird, no plastic, just the implants. And I woke up from surgery. You, my mom, and my dad were there.
Yeah. Yeah, we all came back. I believe a couple of us took some quick naps. We got some breakfast, and we managed to walk in to the office almost exactly the moment they were calling your mom saying that they were going to be bringing you out of surgery and anesthesia.
Yeah.
So timing worked out great. We got back there, and you were just kind of becoming conscious again.
And apparently, my number one concern was...
Oh, yeah, you were asking if we ate and what we had for breakfast.
How many?
Like, realistically, probably 6 or 7 times, maybe even more. It may have been more.
I was so hungry.
And keep in mind, this is all within like 40 minutes.
I was so hungry.
Yeah.
Wow, we were in there for 40 minutes.
I think so, something like that.
So they're like prepping me, they're wrapping me up, showing my mom how to dump the tubes. I vaguely remember a lot of this, and some of it is on video, but Dr. Rankin popped in, and I had said to him, would you have done a lift if I told you not to? And he said, probably not. And I said, you're a liar. And that's where that, and I did.
But it was, normally, women go in there, and he has the option to kind of like look at what happened when he pulls out the implants, and then he could choose whether he wants to do a lift.
That's actually not normally.
Oh,
so
okay.
85% of women that he works on do need a lift. It's because a lot of them have had implants in for a super long time. Or if you did have a lot of breast tissue and got implants, which seems ironic.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there are women that have a lot of breast tissue that just want fuller breasts or even breasts or whatever it is, they get implants.
If you have a lot of breast tissue, does that basically just mean you have big boobs?
Yes.
Okay.
And they get implants.
Why are you saying it like that?
Because that's what you say.
Okay, I don't know.
So the having a lot of breast, because it's not just big boobs, it's having a lot of breast tissue. It's heavy, it weighs down.
Okay.
You often need a lift. Women that didn't have a lot originally don't normally need lifts.
Okay.
Now there are some patients where he will say, I'll take out the implants, sit you up, and figure out where. And I think they actually may have to sit up everyone, even if you're getting a lift, because there's no way to tell where they should be when you're laying down.
Yeah.
So that is normal. Like, that's normally the process. You either know you're getting a lift or you might come out with the lift, depending on what's needed.
Okay.
I opted out. I decided wasn't going to do it because, as I've said before, if I have kids, I would like to try to breastfeed, and getting a lift kind of throws off the milk ducts. And if I have kids, I know that they're probably going to change what my boobs look like, and I didn't want to spend money on a breast lift and have them ruin it. And we're already off to a bad start then with these kids that I haven't even met yet.
So I think the question that everybody has, though, right? All the details are good, but how do you feel? How did you feel the first day, and how do you feel now?
I was super high the first day. I was in shock at how easy it was to move my arms. When I got the implants in, I could not move my arms almost at all.
This was 10 years ago?
Yes. And I was prepared for that because I know you're going to have to do T-Rex arms. I couldn't believe how easy it was to overdo it. Mm-hmm. How great I felt. Now, I got the nerve blocker. I did pay. That's an extra thing you can pay for. I haven't had to take a single pain pill. I've only taken a muscle relaxer so I know to sleep, so I can sleep at night.
Okay.
I have barely had any pain at all this whole time. 6 days out, I did have some discomfort, and I'll explain that in a second, but the next day I woke up and I felt like I could go for a run. It was bizarre. My face immediately was less puffy. I posted that to my Instagram story.
I have noticed your eyes are a little different.
Yes. I wasn't sneezing. I wasn't blowing my nose at all. Next day, same thing. Wasn't sneezing, blowing my nose. Felt great. And then the next day, same thing. Monday, 4 days out, I guess, the sneezing came back and I was like, no. And it knocked me out again. Yesterday was a little better. Today it happened again. I've learned that it's going to come and go.
Yeah.
Could also be actual allergies based on where I am. Could be the medication I'm taking, the antibiotic, whatever. There's a lot that needs to happen. This is like a year's process of detoxing. But those first 3 days, I could cry. I haven't felt that good in forever. And it was just eye-opening because I kept being like, there's no way I'm going to be one of those women that comes out of surgery and is like, I can breathe. My eye puffiness is gone. My skin looks different. Blah, blah, blah. And I was.
So, but if you're on a nerve blocker, how long does that last in your system?
So 3 days.
So, and you said the first 3 days were the best 3 days.
But that's pain.
Okay.
That's
but
not
does it
sneezing.
can't impact anything else?
It can't. I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about them.
I don't think so. But my mom was the one that was like, even your under eyes, it's crazy. She's like, I'm noticing your under eyes were different. And I guess my dad was always so concerned because my under eyes were so dark. He thought that I was just like not taking care of myself, which is crazy because I love sleeping and I work out, I eat health. Like out of anyone in my family, I am the last person to not take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And the insides felt, or I was doing all the work, but my body wasn't basically, I guess, adapting to that, or because it was just in overdrive all the time. So I weighed myself before surgery on the scale here because I wanted to have a baseline after the implants came out. And I was 3 pounds less.
Which, I mean, the implants weigh what?
Which I know.
Probably 2 or 3 pounds?
Yeah. I know that some people are listening on audio, but this is also on YouTube, so show and tell.
Carla Marie is looking for the implants at the moment. Let's see if she can reach them with her T-Rex arms. Looks like she's got them. Okay.
They are.
It is weird because they have like a sticky texture.
Yeah, the sample one that I have that I was able to get from my last doctor did not have this, and I think it's just because it's worn out over time.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I mean, your body's been trying to attack those now for 10 years, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of wild. When they gave them to me, sitting at post-op, I was like, oh my God, they're so. I mean, they definitely felt heavier than they did. They definitely felt heavier then when I was like so drugged up because I couldn't really lift anything.
But they're not light.
No. So what people keep messaging me saying is that the inflammation is gone, the inflammation's out of your face, all this stuff. I weighed myself today, 6 days post-op. I'm down 6 pounds.
Okay. So a minimum of 2 pounds is the implants.
Yeah, when we get home, I'm going to put them on our food scale and weigh them. But a lot of it is inflammation. And I know it's going to fluctuate. I know my body's just probably in shock. It's been through trauma. I'm taking medication. I'm not in my regular sleep routine. I'm actually sleeping probably more right now. I'm not home. I'm not just in my routine. So it's going to be a whole new set of changes when we get back to Seattle.
Yeah.
Overall, I am so happy I did this. There's not a single thought that I shouldn't have explanted at all. But
what did you think about the first time you saw yourself without them?
So I went into my post-op, so that was not even 24 hours later. You go in just for them to unwrap you and look. And when I say unwrap you, I'm wearing a surgical bra and an ACE bandage wrapped around my body. And you have the drains in, so they want to check your drain ports and everything. My mom came in with me, and Lala, who was on this podcast, told me, do not look at them the day after. Now, Lala had a lift. When you get a lift, they look straight up Frankenstein. Okay. Because there's a lot of sutures. They take off your nipple. They put that back on. It's just a lot. And Tammy, who was unwrapping me, was like, do you want to see them? And I said, yes. And I think I was honestly still high from the anesthesia at this point. And I look in the mirror and I was like, whoa. I was so impressed at how bad they didn't look.
Okay, because you were expecting worse.
Yes.
And I'm sure you probably looked at a bunch of pictures online and saw like the worst of the worst.
I cannot tell you how grateful I am for all the women that have come before me doing this. But that Facebook group, Breast Implant Illness by Nicole, is the name of the Facebook group. It's almost at 200,000
Wow.
people now. And so many women, and I even posted in there this week, I was like, thank you for sharing your befores and afters, because or not before, your post-op and then months later, because it's helping me trust the process.
Yeah.
So to explain what they kind of look like, the implant, I'll take that just so I can explain it best. And if you're watching, you get a better idea. But the implant is this giant circle. It is much bigger than my actual breast tissue, than my actual boob was. So the area where it was is kind of like this flap underneath my breast tissue. Mm-hmm. And how Dr. Rankin explains is that's going to flatten and go away, and your breast tissue will fluff up. My breast tissue has been squished for 10 years by this thing. Mm-hmm. So a lot needs to happen. Even today, I looked at them different than yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, they already look so different. So I'm trusting the process. Yeah. I do get nervous every time I look at them. I'm like, oh my God, is that going to be weird? My scars will be visible. They're going to be lighter, but they will be visible. They used to be under my boob, but there really is no under to have anymore. So where my old under boob is almost like on my stomach now. It's kind of hard to explain because everything was way stretched out. So I'm super happy with the process. The drains were very annoying.
Oh yeah, you don't have those in anymore.
No. I got them removed yesterday. They were more annoying than anything. I did have a little pain on the left side, and we think that's because my mom accidentally yanked that one twice while it was inside.
Yeah.
That was the thing I was most concerned about. When I first started Googling explants and learning about drains, I was like, nope, never getting one. Because I was like, I'm not putting, what do you mean drains? And I was like Googling, do you have to have drains, all this stuff? And you don't have to. Different doctors do different things. But I trust Dr. Rankin, and I was like, whatever, I'll do it. And everyone said they're more annoying than anything. And it's true. They were more annoying than anything. But getting them removed,
it's kind of crazy how the drain works. It's basically just from what I saw, it's just a tube that they install. One end of the tube is in essentially like the vacant sac that your implant would have been in. Because once they remove that, a bunch of fluid ends up in that area. And when that fluid is there, it keeps your skin and your muscle from kind of adhering to one another properly. So the drain is there to get all that fluid out so that your skin can make contact with your muscle.
You heal faster.
And it heals faster and it heals better.
Yeah.
But it's crazy when it's essentially a tiny hose.
Yeah.
And
it wraps around your breast tissue. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much of the hose was in your body. Mm-hmm. I mean, not as much as was outside, but I would say you're probably looking at a third of the length that you can see, a third of the visible length was inside.
It's more like a foot, at least.
Yeah, something
wrapped
like that.
Around your. So when Tammy pulled them out, it was actually super quick, like less than 3 seconds. I felt no pain. The one side that was sore, I felt a little discomfort. And as someone
they just yank it.
But as someone described it, it's like a spaghetti moving around.
Mm-hmm.
I said it felt like a bubble, and then I said it felt like my boob burped. Is the best way to describe it. And she said that a lot of women will say it feels like the placenta coming out, which I can't compare it to. So again, wasn't that bad of an experience for me. Some women say they almost pass out after it. Mm-hmm. So I'm very lucky. But I do have to be completely honest with where my brain has been the last few days. I think it was Saturday. Anthony and I were sitting on the balcony here. And you were like, what are you thinking about? And I thought, why did I do this in the first place? Like, why did I get implants? Mm-hmm. Because I'll never get to know what my boobs would have looked like without messing them up.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And again, I don't regret it. It's still, like, I can't regret it. I won't let myself do that. I really don't feel that. But I was like, why did I do this? Like, what was my brain doing at 25? And it was more of like not a rhetorical question, but I don't know. It was just a weird moment where I was like, you're an idiot.
But I mean, the more downtime you have and the more big decisions you make, you get a little introspective, and that's just what you were doing. Yeah. That's it. There's no right or wrong answer to that question.
And then I also had a moment where I was like, not hating my body, but there was something that was driving me nuts. And I'm always honest with everything because I want people who go through this process to understand you're not alone when you think of things. So there's no medical term other than armpit fat that used to drive me insane. No matter how skinny I was, I still had it. We all have it. I get it. But that was like my trigger. It drove me nuts. When I got implants, for the most part, it went away because the implant pulled out my skin and stretched it so it wasn't like this flabby thing next to my arm. I was not prepared. And I even joked about it with Dr. Rankin about sucking that out when he was in there. Like, because I know, like, obviously I still have it a little bit in some dresses, whatever. I was not prepared for how full force that was going to come back because the skin was not as taut.
Yeah, but your skin is also going to change over the next 6 months.
It is. But that sent me in a downward spiral. And I was like, wow, should I have really had him suck that out? I don't want to now hate my body all over again. Like it was, or not that I really ever hated my body. I don't want to now hate my body because of these. And then I had to remember, like, okay, you can also work out. You can do things. Like I was not working out when I got my implants at all. So I never had muscle. I never, worked on that kind of stuff. So I did have a downward spiral for a bit, but I'm okay.
Good.
I'm going to be fine.
And I think that you're going to have those moments, those introspective moments, those moments where you question all the decisions you make. But over the next 6 months, things are going to change.
Yeah.
And as you change physically, mentally you'll go through things as well. And that's totally normal.
One thing I can say I've noticed is that I had insane shoulder pain for 3 months leading up to surgery, and chiropractor, everything. Like I'd get some of it would go away, but not completely, and it's gone. Now, it could be because I'm not using it, obviously, but at this moment in time, it was bicep tendonitis, I think. I don't feel anything.
Good.
I don't know if the implant was causing some stuff. But yeah, that. And then I noticed that my nail beds, so my nails, have a pinkish color to them, where they used to just be like white and always dead looking.
Okay.
And I was looking down at my nails and I was like, they actually look healthy. And I did not think like my nail beds would have no color.
Yeah.
Like, until I saw them. I think they're pinker. My face, I think, has more color. What else do I'm trying to think of things.
Well, you have notes?
Yeah, I do have notes. But in terms of changes, I think that's probably it. I'm sleeping great.
And that's it for now.
For now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even a week. I'm sleeping great, but I am taking the muscle relaxer. But I'm sleeping
That'll help.
I'm sleeping on my back on a wedge. I can't move. It's really interesting, but I know we have the air conditioning on here that normally doesn't matter for me. I haven't been having night sweats.
That's good.
I'm curious to see if it comes back when we're in Seattle.
What is the next milestone or benchmark that's on the horizon?
So next Tuesday, I can take the ace bandage off.
Okay.
I will feel much better. Then
And then it's just a sports bra.
it's a surgical bra.
Okay. Looks a lot like a sports bra. No?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yes, I guess. And then a week after that, 3 weeks, I can a week or so after that, start to lift my arms above shoulder height.
Okay.
Slowly, like 10 times a day. Also around that time, I believe the surgical tape over my incisions comes off, and then I can start applying scar gel. And then shortly after that, I have to start massaging them twice a day, 5 minutes each boob.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting.
So ace bandage is the next milestone.
Yes. One thing that I think is bizarre, and I feel like only women will understand this. The weirdest thing for me, and I noticed it yesterday at the drain appointment when Dr. Rankin put me in front of the mirror and he was like, just so you know, you look exactly like you are supposed to look right now, which is awesome to hear. Because when you're looking at your boobs, you're like, what the heck is that? But when I had looked in the mirror, I could not believe that my boobs jiggled. And we went for a walk earlier today. Now that a lot of swelling is going down, I could feel them moving. And with the implants, the only time I could feel them moving is if I would run. But even then, I'd have on a super tight sports bra. So I'm sure some women like hate the fact that they can feel their boobs jiggling, but for me it was like I can feel movement.
But it's like back to normal for you.
Yeah, it was so weird. And the like just touching them because it's itchy, so I like itch in there, and I'm like, oh, it's so squishy. It's not hard. It's so weird. So it's been such a fun process to just like kind of get reacquainted with my body.
Yeah. And that'll continue to happen for the next couple months.
But one of the things that everyone has been super excited about since maybe it was Sunday was Anthony doing my hair. I have over 1,000 responses to my Instagram stories of you doing my hair.
It's the Habibi Salon.
But there are questions like, I thought this man had long hair. How come he can't do hair?
Well, it's different when you're doing it. I mean, and when I had long hair, there were times where I'd put my hair in like a ponytail or whatever. Oftentimes it was a headband.
Yeah,
And it's also different when you're doing it to yourself.
it is. But
It's also different when your customer is constantly on her phone talking to it and switching her head angle around.
But
Maybe you've had better clients.
It's been a lot of fun, and I think I'm going to make you keep doing this for years to come.
Oh.
So, but which is also wild. I keep getting responses like, oh my God, he's such a good one. He's such a keeper. And I'm like, yes, I know that.
For what?
But shouldn't
I don't know if I am.
but shouldn't also like everyone's partner do this for them?
I don't know. Other people's partners aren't my problem.
So yes, there's that. But I do have to thank my parents. I mean, mainly my mom, because my dad just egged me on for days, kept the humor, which was good. But my mom showered me.
He also paid for a lot of dinners and food and stuff, so you could thank him for that as well.
Fair. That is true. My parents fed us for 4 days straight. But my mom showered me when I was able to take a shower. That was actually the first and only time that I was like bugging out because we had to undress everything on our own. And I was like panicked about putting it back on. I was like, no, stop touching me. Let me do it. It was like very scary because I still had the drains in. That was one of the times my mom accidentally yanked them because she was drying me. And so she showered me. And then you gave me like a sponge bath. You didn't have to wash my hair. You just washed my limbs.
Because I mean, being in Florida, it's sticky and sweaty here.
I can't sleep if I'm sticky, so I need.
Think about that if you're coming to Florida for surgery. Think about the months that you are going to be here.
Yeah.
If you can do it in the winter, you're probably much better off.
Yes.
Like I wouldn't come here in August for a surgery.
No. And just a quick note on the drains, just to talk about them, because up until this point, I just knew drains and you get them out. Like I didn't really know the process. So most people keep the drains in 5 to 7 days. I did have them 5, which was great. You have to, the first day, every 4 hours, dump each drain bulb into like almost like a urine cup and measure it, keep a log. And then after a few days, it's every 6 hours and it's every 12 hours. Once you are putting out 20 milliliters or less
combined
in each bulb, no, not combined.
Oh, okay,
each
separately.
bulb, each boob, right? 20 milliliters or less in a 24-hour period, they can come out. And I did just hit that on my 5th day, which is great. The colors of it changes, which is crazy.
It's getting different fluids out of it.
Yeah, the more you use your hands or arms, the more fluid comes out. I think the redder it could be. So I like got to a point where I was like, I'm not moving my arms because I need this shit to come out.
Yeah.
And it actually was great. I just, the whole team there, you got to meet everyone in the office. They're so
really
friendly,
nice.
So amazing. And shout out to anyone this is your first episode listening, because I know a lot of women were DMing me like, I want to do this, or I think I have this. What should I do? And I was like, go listen to the podcast because it explains a lot. Then come back and ask questions. So.
I also think podcasts like this, Facebook groups like the one that you're in, talking to people who have been through it, all of that helps make your experience easier because you know how to prep going into it. You know what to expect. You know what to eat. You know. There's all those different things that a doctor is going to tell you the main things that you need to know. But they might not give you, for maybe even insurance reasons, they might not give you a link to buy a pillow that helps you, right? They might not tell you to take. They might not specifically tell you a brand of supplement that's a little cheaper or something, whatever it is. Being more prepared for something like this, whether it's breast explant surgery or any sort of surgery or big life-changing thing, helps.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a list together of everything that I have used, and I'm going to mark off, like, this was doctor recommended, this I figured out on my own, because, like, you have been making me a drink concoction that's, what do I have?
There's supposed to be some magnesium in there, but then it's just BCAAs, which branched chain amino acids, which kind of help your body recover and build back up.
So those are just things that, like, we also know. So I'm going to put a whole list together. I'm going to do that as I'm recovering because I want to see what's actually working and stuff. If you're about to go into surgery, before I do this list, just reach out to me and I will happily help you with whatever. But yeah, I'm still learning stuff because I posted in that Facebook group and I said, everything went away with my sinuses and then it came back. I understand there's a process, but has this happened? And some women were like, nope, mine never came back the day after surgery. And others were like, mine was gone for 5 weeks, came back for 2, and now it's been gone for years.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. One woman said that her post-op, her ENT told her that because your body this whole time, but pre-op and post-op, has been trying to detox silicone, that your nasal passages are likely lined with silicone.
Interesting.
And I was like, what in the actual?
So what do you do for
there's
that?
2 different things, and they're like, it's not like nothing weird or crazy. It's like a certain nasal spray. It's like a Manuka honey nasal spray, and there's like a sesame oil you just like drip around your nostrils so that they're not dry or whatever. So it's not like anything crazy that I'm not supposed to be shoving up there.
Okay, you're
so
not taking like a drill.
No, I may
Clearing
try
it out.
that, but also in 6 weeks I can actually go to my actual doctor and start a detox process. So there's a lot to come. I think next week's episode will probably be just me again, talking about traveling back. Well, and Anthony maybe.
Oh, never mind. I take that back.
And then I'll start having on a guest again, I believe. So
Cool. Feel good?
I do. I do feel really good. But it's just a wild process. I think I got everything. Let me check my list. Oh, I did want to say this. When I saw Dr. Rankin at my drain appointment, he said, I'm glad we did no lift, or I wouldn't have done a lift because you wouldn't have benefited from one. You would have just had scars that weren't necessary.
That's good.
Basically, he's saying your boobs are too tiny to do a lift because,
But at least he didn't just take your money.
right? And that's what I love, and that's like I knew that I could trust him because if he's telling me you may not need a lift from day one, then
Well, that was like when I tore my Achilles.
Yep.
And the orthopedic surgeon that I spoke to basically said, listen, I do surgery for a living. I get paid mainly to do surgery. And I don't know if doing surgery on your specific injury is going to help you.
yeah.
It won't hurt you. I just don't think it's worth it. And I did get a second opinion because that's always important. But knowing that the guy who profits off of that surgery told me I might not need it,
Right.
I feel like I trusted it more.
Yeah. So, same thing.
And I'm good, by the way. My Achilles is fully
healed.
functional and
We're almost at a
operational.
year of that.
Almost exactly a year ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and it took you a while. It did take you a while to heal.
Yeah, the process wasn't fun, much like the process you're going to go through, but talking to people who have been through it,
Yeah.
talking to multiple doctors, I'm super thankful that one of my best friends who lives in New Jersey owns a physical therapy practice and has seen a ton of Achilles injuries.
But you went above and beyond with your recovery. You didn't just go to physical therapy.
Correct,
You were essentially doing your own physical therapy every day.
And that's one of the reasons now that this is going to pivot from a boob to
it's true.
Achilles podcast. But one of the reasons both my friend, who's a physical therapist, and the doctor, the surgeon that I spoke to, were so confident that I didn't need surgery was because they both knew how much time I put into the gym and on physical fitness in general. Mm-hmm. And really, all of your recovery is getting into that process and continuing, getting into a rhythm and being diligent about it. And because I had done that before the injury, there's no reason I wouldn't do it afterwards. So they felt confident that I'd be able to pull it off.
So I'm basically going to take those same vibes into my recovery. But
get on a good schedule, eat the things you're supposed to eat, stay away from the things you're supposed to stay away from. I mean, there have been multiple times where as we've been trying, getting dinner and stuff, there are certain things you're supposed to stay away from.
Yeah.
And you'll say things like, well, what if I just have a little piece? Or what if I just have one serving? And the thing to always remember is it worth it?
no.
is that little piece of whatever worth it within the next 6 months? Because you don't have to cut it out for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but I will say also going back to the weight loss, I haven't been really having dairy at all. So I think that's also helping with the that's the whole point though. You don't want to be inflamed, especially during recovery. So there's a lot happening to my body right now. And a lot of women will say this, it's so hard to pinpoint because you're taking medicine, but you're doing this. It's not just you pop out your boobs and your life changes. There's a lot you have to do.
And you're probably going to be more health conscious going forward, right? Because you now know the things that you put into your body do have dramatic effects.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So it's a whole lifestyle change.
So a huge thank you to Dr. Rankin. Go follow him on Instagram. He posts the best videos. I link all of that info in the description of this podcast or video on YouTube. I've been tagging all members of his team because they're incredible. Dee, wealth of knowledge as well when it comes to this. She's tagged. Thank you to my parents who have took care of me, fed us, and were a source of entertainment. Thank you to Anthony's mom who washed my hair yesterday in the sink.
She came down to Florida yesterday.
Yep. Washed my hair in the sink. Did a French braid, which I'm rocking today. Stayed overnight.
Newest member of the Habibi Salon.
Yes. To Anthony, who has been literally taking care of me all the ways possible. Even put on my socks some days. You know, all the things. Can you say what your quote was to me the other night? Can we say that here?
I've said a lot of weird
things.
things.
Yeah, okay, you don't know.
Which one?
When I told you dressed me, and I said, can you go get my teddy bear? And you said...
Oh, was that when I compared you to a child?
You're like, this is like taking care of a 12-year-old. I have to dress you, you need a teddy bear, and you have no tits. And I said, I hate to break it to you, but there are 12-year-olds with bigger boobs than I have at this point.
I would not know.
No, you would not, but I do. So, go also to my Instagram. I've been posting a lot of videos about either Anthony doing my hair or getting the drains removed or whatever it may be. So at the Carla Marie, you can go follow Anthony at Worst Anthony as well. If you live in the Miami area, check in with us because we may be doing a meetup on Saturday before we head to the airport.
Yeah, that's with it. If you watch this within like 2 days of it posting.
Yeah.
If you watch this in a year, don't
go meet us anywhere. We might not be there. But thank you again for everyone checking in, everyone reaching out. It was actually awesome to have all the positive vibes. It really does mean a lot. So thank you. And until next week. Oh, peace out. Peace outed, boobs. They've been out. What do I say?
Goodbye.
Bye, boobs.